We interrupted an important experiment in progress.
I am Chucky.
Pennywise the ants.
You get you
I want to play a game.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to my 31 Days of Halloween review series, and today I am going to be reviewing the original Children of the Corn from 1984.
They are the children of the corn. They must obey he who walks among the rows. And they live in a world where adults are not allowed to live. Children of the corn. A new kind of nightmare. An adult nightmare. Stephen King's Children of the Corn. Rated R.
Coming Friday. Check local newspapers for theaters and showtimes.
The plot of Children of the Corn is that a young couple find themselves stranded in the rural town of Gatlin, Nebraska, where they encounter a mysterious religious sect of children. But nowhere in town are there any adults. The horror grows to a blood-curdling climax as the two new visitors learn of the terrifying secret behind the prospering cornfields. Now, before I get into this video, I would like to give you a bit of info on this movie. Now, for those who don't know, Children of the Corn is based on a classic short story by horror writer Stephen King. If you don't know who he is, then you're either new into horror or you're just not a horror fan. But Stephen King is a well-renowned horror writer who has come up with some of the, most iconic stories like Pet Sematary, The Shining, Children of the Corn, It, and so many other stories he's done over the years. But those are a few, just a few to name, that are iconic stories, iconic tales of horror. And Children of the Corn, for a lot of people, has been a lifelong favorite that has spawned numerous sequels and many imitators. Now, for me, how does the original stack up? How does the original Children of Corn film from 1984 stack up? Well, let's see. Again, before we get into it, I'm going to list off the cast, who starred in it and everything. Children of Corn stars Peter Horton, Linda Hamilton, and it's directed by First Kurtz. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If not, here's his name right here, or I'll put his name in the description box below. There's a bit of history there with Children of Corn. Now let's move on to my thoughts, and starting off, we're going to discuss about my positives. One of the things I like about Children of Corn, the original Children of Corn, is I actually do like some of the cast. I do like Peter Horton as Bert, and I do like Linda Hamilton as Vicky, the two young couple who actually visit the town of Gatlin, Nebraska. And yeah, actually, and fun fact though, this is pre-Terminator Linda Hamilton playing Vicky here. So this was before she did the first Terminator movie as Sarah Connor. If you've seen this movie, you've seen her before she became really big with the Terminator. And again, she's good in it, she's fine. So is Peter Horton. I do like the casting though. I think they're pretty good in these roles. Although one actor I would like to discuss is this actor who, I'm not sure if he's done anything else since this movie, but man is he good. And that is an actor by the name of John Franklin who plays Isaac. Now, interesting fact about John Franklin here is that he was actually 25 years old when he played Isaac. Because he has one of those conditions that make him look and sound a lot younger than he really is. And honestly, he is great as Isaac. I just can't talk enough about his portrayal of Isaac in this movie. It's one of the more entertaining parts of the film, and sometimes it can be downright intimidating. Oh, I also do like the music of Children of Corn, the original Children of Corn, especially that main theme where it's like dun 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 dun. That's my best impression of the theme, because I can't play it here unless if I want to get copyright. I mean, I could change the pitch and everything. I'll try that. If not, then I'll keep this version, I'll make a version with the music in here and without, just in case. But overall, the music of the original Children of Corn is pretty good. And apologies for the sound in the background. Somebody's using I think either I have no idea what they're using, but it seems like they're cutting like doing some yard work. So I do apologize for that noise. I also apologize for the other noise here too. I have my cooler going on. It is pretty hot in here. It's about 90 degrees out in here. So yeah, so I do apologize. Although, update, we do have an air conditioner that we plan on setting up here. So hopefully it'll be quieter than that cooler and actually be a lot cooler in here, so I'm not like, you know. But anyway, another thing I liked about it is nothing that I just outright loved about the original Children of Corn. So let's move on to some of the things I'm mixed about. Some of the things I'm mixed about is honestly some of the story elements. Because here's the thing, I didn't read, but I listened to the audiobook of the original Children of Corn story, the short story. And there's some issues I have here. First of all, in the film, it's okay. It's played out okay in that regard. There's some interesting moments here and there, again with Isaac and, you know, all that different stuff. You know what? I don't know why I said mixed thoughts, actually. Oh yeah, I remember why, because there's some elements that I think they added in here where they kind of question, you know, this kid's cults, you know, religion and everything. Like you had Peter Horton's bird basically go into a church. They're practicing some sort of ceremony, I guess. One of the kids explains what's going on, like one of them who's getting the ceremony done, and he was like, it's as is it's written, and he went up, picked up the Holy Bible, and it's like, as it written. Like, what do you mean as it written? In this? Are you rewriting the whole thing or just the parts that suit your need? Because honestly, there are some religious factions of Christianity that actually do that. They actually either rewrite the Bible or just kind of twist certain parts to suit their needs. I'm not saying whether or not I'm Christian or not, but I do know that does happen. And so that was kind of interesting bit. Another interesting bit is near the end of the film. Again, from Bert, he basically, after fighting off Malachi and Isaac's second in command, and you know, trying to save Vicky, he eventually cracks down on the kids, and it's like, basically like, any religion that isn't of love is false. And that's kind of interesting. And could add some interesting commentary on, you know, just religion and belief and all that. But my problem is that most of the time, all it does is do nothing but bash Christianity. Not that I have a problem with that in itself, but if you're going to make a commentary on religion, you have to give the pros to religious viewpoints, and you also have to give, you know, like basically what I'm saying is that make it more, have some more nuance than that, you know? Have it be more nuanced and everything, like, so that the audience could be like, okay, maybe they got a point on it, or, because they almost had something here, with this movie. And, yeah, so, that's the thing I'm mixed on, so now let's go on to my negatives. And one of my biggest negatives is the pacing of this movie. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, this film is based on a short story. And if you listen to the audiobook, the short story is like about 40 minutes, something like that, 30 to 40 minutes long. It seems like they just basically took the short story and stretched it out. Yeah, keep on stretching it. You know, to fit an hour-and-a-half movie. And one of the problems with that is there's a lot of filler moments. You see, like, scenes of Bert or Vicky kind of looking around the place, you know, and it kind of goes on for a while. I know they're trying to build some suspense, but man, the book was better paced than this movie. And another problem I have is the fact that they tried to actually make for this film the corn scary. The corn itself scary. I'm not even joking. there are shots where literally the camera just zooms up on the corn, and it's like does this dramatic music and everything. There's even a scene where near the end of the film where Bert falls on the ground and Corn just tries to cover him up and everything. It's like, and it has creepy type, intense music going on, and I'm like, come on. Because here's the thing, what I would do here, basically, because I thought about adapting Children of Corn into a film, because again, I'm a filmmaker. I do films on my main channel, Blood Moon Productions, and people have said they actually think I would do a good job of adapting Stephen King stories into films. And I think one of the first ones I'll probably do is Children of Corn, actually, because the first thing I'm going to do is make it a short film, so about 30 to 40 minutes tops. And because the original story is a short story, so therefore should be adapted into a short film, not an hour and a half plus movie. And then the other thing I would do differently is, instead of making the corn scary, which I don't know why they decided to try to make the corn itself scary, but I would try to make what is within the corn scary. And that is the creepy kids. This creepy cult of children, who murdered all the adults, who murdered the parents and everything. That is what's supposed to be scary. And of course, I know there's this whole thing of this entity, we're not sure what it is, known as, only referred to as He Who Walks Behind the Rose. And we never really get to know what exactly this entity is, which on one hand could be good, but the way they handle it just looks so bad. It looks so bad. I mean, just look at this image. Is that what the scary entity is supposed to be? Because if that's the case, then that is fucking hilarious. That is humorous as fuck. You might as well have been better not showcasing what is He Who Walks Behind the Row. You might as well have been better off with that. Not showing it. Not showing this presence. Give hints of the presence, but that's about it. And just leaving it up to the viewer's imagination on what this entity is. Outside of that, those are my only negatives. So let's move on to my rating. So with that said, I'm going to give the original Children of the Corn a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now, I was kind of torn between giving a 3.5 or 4, but I don't think it's as good enough to be a 4. So it's just a little bit better than okay. This is a little more than an okay movie. It's not harmful. It's not, it's just kind of a bit of a bore to get through because in some places, but then there's some really entertaining parts in other places. And yeah, it's just one of those kind of, you're not so sure where you would place this film on. And I know there's people out there who love and adore this movie. I get it. If you love and adore this movie, that's fine. But for me, I think it's a little bit better than okay. Again, there's some really damn interesting segments in this movie. And then, because it's based on a short story, and then they turned it into an hour and a half plus movie, there's a lot of, dead spots in this movie. There is. And there's some things that could have been done better, like I said, maybe instead of showing glimpses of He Who Walks Behind the Rose, maybe instead they could have, kept it a mystery, show hints of this entity and here and there and have the kids talk about it. And not only that too, the only scary thing you might see in regards, I forgot to mention this in my negatives, but the only thing scary you might see in this in regards for the cult of children is them just quoting scripture. That's about it. Most of it's focused on violence and just violence and that. And you could do a lot more with creepy kids. You could. So, and that's why I plan on doing it for whenever I do my adaptation of Children of the Corn. I am baffled that there are so many films that came out after this one. So many sequels. I think there's I don't know how many there is. I'll put a number up here of how many there is, or I'll just cut to basically showing posters of each of the films. And it's they're even working on another one right now. And I'm And there's one remake. I've only seen this one, the original Children of the Corn, and the 2009 remake that was made by the Sci-Fi Channel. That's it. That's all I've seen of this franchise. So, at some point I will have to cover this franchise like the rest of this franchise, so Children of the Corn 2, all the way to the newest one that will eventually come out. If it does. Which eventually then I'll do my ranking of the series and all that different stuff. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.